Good evening and welcome to the Kim B. Davis Show. I'm your host, Kim B. Davis, and this evening I am angry. I am frustrated. I am exhausted because yet here in America, we have another police video. I have not watched the video. However, I have read the personal accounts from the mother, the father, and other people. I have seen the hospital pictures where we see Terry Nichols laying in a hospital bed with a tube in his mouth, assisting him, I believe, in breathing or whatever else it was needed to do. It's January 2023, and we continue to have videos like this. A couple years ago, we had George Floyd. The world protested, marched in unison. There were protests all across the United States, and people vowed change. And yet here we are. Just a few weeks ago, there was a teacher that was at home or on break and had gone home to California, I believe it was LA, had an accident, was having an anxiety attack, and the police officer told him that if he did not calm down, that he would tase him. And he tased him to death. We've had 13-year-olds shot in DC because someone saw a child in an area where cars were being vandalized and assumed that it was this child. Now, you may say, well, you know what? People shouldn't be where they are. But the unfortunate reality in America, Black people have no safe place. There is no place that's safe for us. We can't be in our own homes. Ask Gene Botham. He was shot on his couch because a police officer pulled up to his door and demanded, stating that it was her apartment, yet it was not. He is dead and gone. She went to jail for a few years. She is still moving on with her life. We have people who simply get in their car, go to work, go to school, whatever it is, and never make it home alive. Dr. Henry Louis Gates, a renowned, prolific author, historian, genealogist, all the titles that you can give him. He's well educated, no criminal record. Yet, because he did something that everyone does, I lost my key, I left my key at home, I locked myself out. I'm trying to get into my house, my residence. And what happened? The police were called. And we had to have a national conversation around why Black people cannot exist without police always having to be called. There was a case earlier in Michigan. You guys know that I am a Michiganian. I'm a resident of Michigan. And there was a realtor who had a Black secretary who has Black children. He, I guess, purchased a house as part of his real estate duties, was trying to sell this house, and the home needs to be cleaned out. So what do we do when sometimes monies are low or we have the advantage of having staff? We put our staff to work and ask them to do things that we may contract other people out. This woman who had teenage sons who probably wanted to make some extra money because you can't really have a job, and they were capable of cleaning and were responsible. A white woman across the street from the home swore up and down that these two little children were trying to break into this house. And again, put Black children in jeopardy. We had Trayvon Martin, who was visiting his father in an exclusive neighborhood where his father lived, and he simply wanted to go to the store to get some juice and some candy. Yet he came upon George Zimmerman, who thought, I'm a white man, I know what is right, I know who belongs here, and I know who doesn't. And he took his life. Yet he is still in this world. He is still alive, breathing. Black America is tired. We are angry. We are frustrated. Many of us who are professionals, we are exhausted because we have to continually explain to white people why we're angry. I just had this conversation with someone who I had explained to her why Black people aren't comfortable talking about things that are particular to our people in front of her. We don't get it. America does not get it. Black people have gone along to get along since the days we hit these shores as slaves. We have done everything we had to do to survive. And then we taught our next generations to thrive. We've written books, we've taught curriculums, we've protested, we've marched, we've voted, we've been active and engaged and done all those things. And yet still, we are still out here in the street being lynched. Now today, instead of it being someone is tied to a tree and having your penis blown off by a gun, or having someone chop you up and give your parts to all the members of the community, because yes, that did happen. For all of you who are denying the history, the awful history of this country, and this does not make me an American hater, it does not. But when your house is dirty, you don't clean up 3/4 of the house and leave one part of it dirty. You clean up the entire house. And it is time, America, that we get our house in order. You got criminals running around in Congress. You got George Santos running around. Nobody even knows who he is, but you all are holding him up as some example. You got Donald Trump out here trying to run for president, and he up here doing all kind of crimes and this and that. But yet and still, Black people are still getting murdered out in the street. You can't call yourself a moral nation. You have no morality to stand on. None. You have children that are in the street that are hungry, and you want to cut programs. You want to cut Social Security. You claim that you support veterans. You don't. If you were truly a veteran and had to go through any of the things that veterans have to do, you would be appalled. America, get it together, because this is enough. It is ridiculous. As a mother of 2 sons, I am terrified for my children that this is the world that we bring them into. You know, when mothers kill their children or husbands kill their wives and their families, we think, oh, it's a horrible thing. And it is. But isn't it even more horrible that every day you walk out, you go to school, you go to work, you pay your taxes, you obey the laws, you do all the things that everybody told you to do. And yet and still, when you get pulled over by a cop, you don't know if this is a good cop or bad cop. This isn't anti-police. But I'll tell you, growing up, I always knew that police were there to help me. I can't say that now. I have friends that are police officers. Those are who I call. I've called 911 when I've seen things happen in the street. It hasn't been a good call. It's either taken too long for 911 to pick up, which I thought was odd. I've had to leave messages. Yes, left a message on 911 in Detroit while someone was laying bleeding in the street, and had someone call me back and thought, really? Is this what 911 has become? But this is America. There is no safe place for Black people. None at all. We can't live in our homes. We can't even be in our churches. You shoot up our churches. We can't go to the grocery store on a Sunday and get chicken for a football game because somebody is going to shoot us up. America was born in violence and continues to bathe in it. I don't know what the answer is, but we have to do better. Black people are lining prisons like it's the new plantation. And most people will tell you that that's exactly it. We are watching Black people be lynched and killed out in the street in broad daylight on video. It is triggering. It is despicable to watch people. We're all human beings. I don't care what you look like. I don't care what color you are. That's irrelevant. We're all human beings. We all breathe. We all need food. We all love our families. We all want to do well in life. But yet, because you put on a blue uniform that says police officer, that does not give you the right to murder us, because that is what's happening. I am angry. I am frustrated. I am sad for this country. You know, other countries have warnings out when you come visit the United States. Look it up. For those that are viewing around the world, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There are certain places in America you are told not to go. And guess what? Black folks have that rule too. There are places that we don't go, but for different reasons. We still have sundown towns in the United States. We don't go certain places where there's too many white people because we know something bad might happen. There was a whole movie made about something called the Green Book. I encourage you to look it up. It is a real thing. There are some places in the United States that still operate as sundown towns. And for those that don't know, a sundown town is if you are a person of color, specifically Black, African American, do not be in that town after dark because they will come and kill you. That's what a sundown town is. You are not safe. Something bad is going to happen to you. Think of a horror movie where somebody had to survive through the night. That's exactly what I'm talking about. A sundown town. There are no Black people allowed in that town. And we have places like that. And there are stories of truckers and people that deliver goods and services that are told that if you are not in that town by a certain time, you need to hoof it to get out of town. That's a reality in 2023. While we're still out here, police officers randomly killing people. I am angry because police are supposed to protect and serve. I don't care what color you are. Black, white, green, whatever. You kill somebody, you deserve the punishment that is coming to you. George Floyd's murderers, all of them deserve to suffer. Just like Terry Nichols' perpetrators deserve to suffer. The officers that tased the teacher in California deserve to suffer. The lady cop that killed Jean Botham deserves to suffer. George Zimmerman, I hope you burn in hell. I'm angry. I am tired of having to have conversations. And as a Black professional, I continue to have these conversations. And I am exhausted. I'm sick of people telling me, well, Kim, no, we're the majority. What you see on television is that. No, that is our reality. America is not safe for Black people. I need people to hear this and I need you to understand it. We are not safe. Yes, we have to talk with our children, but we also have to talk with one another. We don't go anywhere alone. We let people know where we are. We have networks of support, but we have to do that for ourselves. We can't always depend on other people. And this is why I am angry. If you are a police officer and you know that there is wrongdoing happening in your department, you need to stand up and be a real police officer and protect and serve and turn that person in. Stop letting this blue line allow you to do bad things, but then you want to turn around and criticize other people. That's called being a hypocrite. We got a lot of hypocrites walking around. I'm sorry, guys. I needed to say something about Terry Nichols. And again, I'm not going to watch the video. I'm not. It's triggering. If you've watched it, God bless you, because that I can't have that in my head, my spirit, because enough is enough. And I know there'll be something else tomorrow and we'll move on because that's what we do in America. We see something, we focus on it for a minute and we move on. that is the most that we can do. But I challenge people, get involved, get active, get engaged, vote, participate in your neighborhood, in your community, because somewhere we got to make a change. We got to do better. America is far better than this, and our children deserve to have a future. Thank you for listening. You have been listening to the Kim B. Davis Show. You know that you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, everywhere on social media, and Kimberly Bachelor Davis. Bachelor is spelled Batchelor. You can see this show on youtube.com/Kimberly Bachelor Davis. You can also hear the show on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Google, and Wisdom. You can learn more about me as an author at kimbdavis.com. Thank you again for tuning in. I hope that you'll join us for our next episode. And as always, remember, be magnificent.